Welcome to Women's $1 Million Conversations with Alice Tang, where we share stories from successful businesswomen who have saved, earned, or sold over $1 million and discuss how they built their success and insights to help you achieve your goals. Now, let's join the conversation.
Good morning, Elizabeth Bachman. I am so happy to see you. Are you in the Northwest or are you in Austria?
Oh, Alice, it's lovely to hear you. At this point, we're recording. I'm in Portland, Oregon, across the river from you.
Beautiful. We used to live within the same proximity of neighborhood in the Northwest, but
Yes.
I choose to move away from you for some reason. Crazy. I'm so glad that you're with us. I know we got a very short window of time, stealing a little time from you and your work with the most successful people who aspire to be millionaires. So here we are. I want you to introduce yourself to our audience and then we can take the questions.
Great. I'm Elizabeth Bachman, as you've heard. And what I do now is work with high-level women who are hitting a glass ceiling. And what I hear over and over is women say, I've got a seat at the table now, but I'm still not being listened to. And so I see others get the promotions that should come to me or the recognition that should come to me, help. And so what I do is I help these women advance their careers and show up as thought leaders by giving them a message, how to change the way they're perceived by changing the way they communicate. And thus they get the allies they want and the promotions or raises or funding they want, and really the recognition that they deserve.
So change their communication and change the results.
Change the way you're perceived, yes.
Awesome. How long have you been doing this line of work?
This particular line of work is what has evolved from, this is career 4 or 5 for me. I like to think it's all been around great communication, so that I've been dedicated to the art of great communication since I first walked on stage at the age of 5. And afterwards, my mom said, oh, she was the best goddamn bunny rabbit ever to grace the stage of the Hillside School. And I thought, oh, this is cool. I'm going to be an actor. And I went from acting to directing opera singers to running an opera company, and finally came to the point where it was a lifetime of that. I was ready to do something else. So now what I do is I leverage what I learned in business from running a company and all the things I learned about presentation, working with people like Luciano Pavarotti and Placido Domingo, to help business professionals present themselves as a leader who should be followed or hired. And I mostly work with women because I have made all the mistakes myself. So I hope to help people not make the same mistakes I did.
Beautiful.
I figured this is the career that combines it all, and I will keep doing this until I fall over, because I'm all about communication and language and words. So I love helping people really step up and claim their voices and then use their communication, their speaking, to get the result they want. So it's really about how do you show up and then use it strategically so that you get that promotion, you get past the glass ceiling, you get the funding that you need, whatever it is.
So since we are in the Women's $1 Million conversation, I got to ask this question. What's the value of money for you?
The value of money is it helps you get what you need, basically.
So it's a tool.
It's a tool, yes.
So we sharpen the tool.
Sharpening the tool, exactly.
And one of the ways to sharpen the tool is to change your words and get to what you want, according to Elizabeth. Let's listen on. All right, Elizabeth, we are curious about what is one of the biggest bias on your road to success.
Back in my opera days, before I started an opera company, I wanted to run an opera company. So I applied for jobs as an artistic director or a general director for various opera companies and over. I was on the short list because I was really well known. On the short list, number 2, number 3, I always saw the job go to a man. And that was the external bias. The internal bias was, I thought it was because there was something wrong with me. And it wasn't until I learned what I do now in terms of leadership and how you get support and how you use your allies, that I realized the problem had not been so much external bias. That was part of it, but it was also how I was sabotaging myself. And I wasn't showing up as a leader. I wasn't using the resources I had. And I was also marketing myself to the wrong people. I was one of the many women who was sitting back and waiting to be recognized for the good work she did, rather than promoting myself to the people who were actually making the decisions. And now I know, because I've learned this the hard way, working with executives, that you can be well known by your peers, but they're not the ones who hire you. You've got to be well known to the people who can promote you, who can refer you, who could be mentors. And so that's a huge part of what I do, helping women rise in their organization and in their industry, and showing up as a leader through how they communicate.
Great answer, and we love it, Elizabeth. One of the resonance that I had goosebumps because you talk about how people who could hire you or give you the business aware of you. I teach networking. Part of the journey is networking to the top. You got to hang out with a different to get what you want. But the bottom line is hang out with a different crowd if you really want to get there. Now, all of us want to get there. I recognize that. But we are here to recognize those who want to. And you, in your journey, Elizabeth, you have helped many to break through the glass ceiling, get to their $1 million income or the first $1 million company revenue. So today we are focusing on that.
Yes, indeed. It's helping others get to that $1 million. And I'm not at $1 million yet, but it is on the plan. So I can see how I can get there.
Yes, I want to share a small secret about Elizabeth. She has the aspiration to get to the $1 million of revenue, but in the other areas, she's worth $1 million. Family and to us. Awesome. So let's continue, if it's okay with you. Could you share with us one thing if you were to meet one of our audience here and they said, I really want to be Elizabeth. What is the one thing you can tell them to be successful, to go get it, to have the courage, to have the power?
I think I would say allies. Find your allies, because what I find, especially for women, tend to be relational. So we connect through our relationships, but we've got centuries and centuries of history keeping women in their place. And it's really only been in the last 50, 60 years that women are taking an equal place in business, which means that there's centuries of socialization and training against this that trying to keep us small. Having a cohort of allies who will encourage you, tell you, yes, you can do this. Don't wait till you're 150% ready, just go do it. Having that cohort who will help you, challenge you, don't let you chicken out, but also connect you to others, to that networking up. That's really important. That's something I do with the Visible and Valued Masterminds, is we create cohorts of peers where you are all at the same level. And I always like it when I'm not the smartest person in the room. So I'm pretty smart.
Amen on that one.
Yeah, I love it when there are other people who are smarter than I am and I can learn from them. So finding the cohort of peers is very important.
Very good allies, and your network is your net worth if you want to.
Exactly.
Great. On your journey to today's very superior level of coaching many millionaire women, one question I really want to know is, I'm sure that you have some downtime or very tough time in that journey when you really want to quit, but you choose not to. That's why you're in front of us. What kept you going?
What kept me going are my allies. When I want to quit, it's easy for me to just get stuck in my own head and hear all the reasons why something won't work. So I reach out to my allies and my network to say, talk to me. What do you do when something like this happens? Help me. Or sometimes I call the people I trust and I say, help, tell me I'm doing this right. Tell me I can make it work. And they help me talk myself out of the defeated or the defeatist voices in my head.
So the people around you, your network and your cohort actually is the secret sauce to
Yes.
getting out of the very down or the valley, so that you can re-challenge the peak one more time and the higher peak.
Yes, I can't do it alone. And I know there are some people who are okay alone. I'm an introvert, so I recharge alone, but I absolutely reach out for help, to surround myself with people who are good at the things I'm not good at. And also who won't let me chicken out, who keep pushing me to say, no, you said you wanted to do this. Okay, let's do it.
Accountability, I agree, is the number one thing. I heard the statistics, actually, we can track back. 65% of the people completed what they said they would do if they just share with somebody. 95% of the people completed what they do if they would share with someone and have an accountability call or meeting.
Yes, exactly. I tell you, I am a world-class procrastinator. So if there's something I don't want to do, I can find out so many reasons not to do it. So having somebody else hold me accountable, that's how I get things done. And with some of my assistants, I will hire people to do something. I could do it myself, but they'll do it faster. And then that leaves my time for the things that only I can do.
Elizabeth, I'm having another set of goosebumps because I was writing my journal this morning and I wrote down what really gives me joy. Many things I can do very well, but the things that give me joy is putting together events so that people can meet each other. They come out of the event feeling that they have gained some experience, reminded of some of the things they used to know and do and forgotten, and more importantly, come out with new friendships, maybe one or two. So that gives me the most joy. Can I do what I do daily to manage the firm? The answer is yes, I can. But that gave me the second joy. The first joy is connecting people to their highest resource.
I was in the events business for 30 years. Creating an event like that is a skill and an art. So brava. That's one of the reasons I first wanted to meet you.
Awesome. So we're winding down to one or two questions here. Gosh, what is one piece of very good or very bad advice that made a very big impact in your career and professional life?
The thing that is present for me right now, I've had advice, good advice and bad advice through my whole career, but my tendency often has been to just hold on tight and move forwards. And that was a skill I developed early on as a child, and it's just that it keeps me moving forward, but it's not as useful. So the advice I got recently and was reminded of is the words receive, surrender, and trust. And that means allowing myself to receive gifts from the universe, from friends, to surrender control, which is hard for me. I like to be in control. So to surrender control and let things happen. So open myself to receive, which also means trusting that the universe is going to help me. I can trust other people. I'm pretty good at trusting other people. Trusting myself has always been a challenge. So even at my age, I'm still working on receive, surrender, and trust.
I love that. I'm trying to let go of my control issues, but you also have expectation of certain things going to happen. When I let go, I feel very peaceful, strangely.
Yeah. Which means trusting that things are going to come out okay.
Yes,
Uh,
it may
I-
not be the expected result that I see, but just know that in the end, that's happening for the best and the highest benefit for me and
yeah.
everybody around me.
So you really have to trust the universe to do that. Yes. I have a quick story that I was reminded of about, in my early 30s, I was going through a difficult time in my life. And so I was working with a self-help group, and somebody said, if you're frustrated, why don't you try reading the 23rd Psalm out loud? And I grew up with the Bible, but I'm not particularly religious. I believe more in a universal power, whatever. I was on a walk one morning and I was really in a terrible space. I was angry. So I was charging up the hill and I was going, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The Lord is a shepherd, I shall not want. And I suddenly thought, whoa, what if goodness and mercy have been following me all the days of my life? And I was so busy charging up the hill that I never noticed that they were right behind me. They're following me. And I stopped halfway up that hill and closed my eyes and reached my arms back as if goodness and mercy were sisters, ready to help me as long as I slowed down enough to ask. And they would actually help me get up the hill. And I was so stuck in my own head that I didn't notice. So now I have reminders. I put up reminders from time to time. So I'll surprise myself and say, remember, goodness and mercy are following you all the days of your life. You just have to slow down, release, surrender, and trust to ask them for help.
What a beautiful story to close our conversation. I have a last small question. What are you grateful for today?
I am grateful for the friends who remind me to slow down, to release, surrender, and trust so that I can do it if I'm reminded. I just need a little help sometimes.
Please count me in. Thank you, Elizabeth. We are so grateful for the time that you give us and sharing your experience. How do people find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Elizabeth Bachman. It's Elizabeth with a Z, and Bachman is Bachman, 1N, or at elizabethbachman.com.
Beautiful. Have a beautiful, blessed day.
Thank you, Alice.